Black Politics, read by author Rashida Brown, Chapter 10. Welcome back for Chapter 10. Excuse me if I mess up on any words. So let's get started with Chapter 10. We have the power to change the way we view things. We have the power to change our situation. Nothing will get in the way of our destiny. God is the most powerful, and that power is in me, Adara said, staring in the mirror. Today is the day of the event, and Adara has been stressing about it all week. She knew a lot was riding on this, and she didn't want to mess it up. Okay, I got this, Adara said, inhaling and exhaling. We got this, Mary corrected, wrapping her arms around Adara. I know, Mom. I'm just a little nervous. A lot of people depend on me to make this happen, Adara said, grabbing her bag. I know, and everything will be fine, Mary assured her. Mary and Adara finished talking and started loading up the car. Abaddon pulled up to help take some things to the building and give Adara's mother and siblings a ride. Adara's car was too packed. As Adara drove down the road to the event's location, she could see the street full of people setting up for the event. The street would be blocked off from one end where they would begin the march to the other end where the event would be hosted at. As she drove through, she saw that some of her workers had already arrived. Her heartbeat started racing. Oh my gosh, it's really happening, Adara said to herself. She parked her car behind the building where all the workers were told to park. Abaddon pulled in behind her. All the workers and volunteers were running around, grabbing food out of the cars and hanging up decoration. It's 6 in the morning and the event starts at 1. Some of the volunteers come outside to help unload Adara's and Abaddon's vehicle. All the volunteers have VIP badges on. Adara walked through the building to make sure everything was done correctly. Once she was done with that, she walked outside to check the space where the event would be held. A group of guys put the stage up, volunteers set up the bouncy houses for the kids, and some set up the sitting area for those who requested a seat. It was mainly for elders or disabled people so they wouldn't have to stand the whole time. Hey, how y'all doing today? Thanks for your help. We appreciate it, Adara called out to the group of volunteers as she continued to walk down the street. As she walked from the event location down the street to where the march would begin, Adara tried to think of things she would say as she led this march. Then, as she approached the march location, she greeted the assigned volunteers for that location. So, y'all have everything y'all need down here? Adara asked. Yes, ma'am. We got everything we need. We got 4 desks for people to check in so we can give them their badges. The gold badges are for those that paid, and the black ones are for those who just want to attend the event. Once they sign in and get their badge, they will stand over there behind the yellow line until it's time to start the march. When they get their badges, the ones who paid will get the t-shirts they ordered and put them on before the march, the lady said. Good to hear. So once we get everything set up down there, I will have all the volunteers come down here an hour before the event so we can help control the crowd and with anything you all may need help with, Adara told her. Sounds good, the lady replied. As Adara was about to head back down the street, a Caucasian lady walked up to her. Excuse me, ma'am, the lady hollered out. Adara turned around and walked towards the lady. Yes, ma'am, how can I help you? Adara said. Are you the one responsible for this event? The lady asked. I am, and you are? Adara asked. Oh, where are my manners? I'm Catherine. I own the candy store around the corner from here. Catherine introduced herself, reaching her hand out. Adara shook the woman's hand. I'm Adara, Adara replied. Yes, I have heard quite a few things about you, Catherine said. Oh, yeah, like what? Adara asked. Oh, it doesn't matter. Look, the reason I came over here is to see if you could help me make sense of all this, Catherine said, looking around. All of what? Adara asked. Let's see how I can put it. What is the purpose of this event? What do you think you will get out of hosting this event? Catherine asked. Adara's eyes bulged out of her head. What I would get out of this event? Are you serious? You can't be serious, Adara said, looking Catherine up and down. Catherine just stood there with a tight grin on her face. I guess you are serious. Well, I'm sure you are aware of the unarmed black boy who was shot by the police a while back, Adara said. Yes, what a tragic thing. But the good news is he's still alive. You know, most people don't survive things like that, Catherine said. You mean people of color, Adara corrected. I mean most people, Catherine said, adjusting her scarf. Which is why we're hosting this event today because most people don't live to tell their side of the story. Their story is created or told by someone who knows nothing about who they were and what happened to them. Today that changes. I know this event would not stop all that's going on, but it would be a step in the right direction, Adara said. Oh, come on, honey. You don't really think hosting a march and having a bunch of people hollering and going on about nothing is going to change anything, do you? Catherine said. Excuse me? Adara said. Look, I'm just saying. Look how long your people been marching and hollering and going on. What has changed for you? Catherine asked. Look, as much as I would love to sit here and go back and forth with you, I have some important work to do, Adara said, walking away. Just save yourself and your people some embarrassment and call off the event, honey, Catherine yelled out. Not today, Satan, Adara yelled out, not even looking back at Catherine. A part of Adara wanted to drag Catherine across the pavement, but she knew that's what Catherine wanted, and she refused to mess this up for her or anybody. People can't be satisfied with what they have, so they always got to be greedy, asking for more. Catherine said, looking at Adara walk away. Catherine noticed a group of African descent people staring at her. Look, I don't mind going to jail. Adara got important things to do, but I will take this L today. Try me like that and see what happens, one of the ladies in the group said, taking off her earrings. Catherine smiled and quickly walked away. Yeah, that's what I thought, the lady said, putting her earrings back on. She knew who to try, coming over here with all that mess, the lady said. Hours have gone by, and the team is finally done setting up the event. Adara called a meeting before the event. Can I have everyone's attention, please? Adara said. Everybody turned their attention towards Adara. I want to thank everyone for coming out today and helping put this event together. I want you to know that nothing goes unnoticed, and I appreciate everything you do. Remember, today is not about you or me, it's about us. Everything that happens today affects us all. We know emotions will be running high today, and we must do our best to make sure everything runs smooth. There will be no rioting or violence on our hands. People are going to be looking for a way to turn this positive event into something negative. Earlier, when I went to go make sure everything was good on the other end, some Caucasian lady approached me, telling me it's best if I save us the embarrassment by canceling the event. Adara said, looking around at everybody. We will not give them the satisfaction today to label us as anything other than what we are. So let's go out there, do this work, and have a great time doing it, Adara said. Everybody hugged and cheered each other on as they walked towards the end of the street. Adara had volunteers and security lined up on each side of the road from one end to the other. As she approached the crowd, she saw Miss Jones and her family standing out to the side. Adara walked up and hugged them all. Are y'all ready for this? Y'all ready to do this? Adara asked. We're ready, Sean replied. Adara and Abaddon grabbed their megaphones and stood in front of the crowd. There were news reporters from different stations there. Can I have everyone's attention? Abaddon yelled out. Everybody quieted down and focused their attention on Abaddon. Today we are here to lift our voices for our people and our concerns. We're not taking any more losses. We're not sitting back taking the breadcrumbs they give us. Today we march for Sean and all our brothers and sisters who this corrupt system has destroyed in one way or another. We also stand here for our brothers and sisters whose lives have been taken by our hands. Today is a day we stand in agreement saying no more. I am you, you are me, and we are us. We're all we got. It's time we realize this. Before this march starts, I would like to say that we will not tolerate any threats or violence from anybody. If you came here with the purpose of ruining this event, then I ask you to please stay back. That's not what we're here for, and we will not be associated with any of that foolishness. Abaddon said, looking over the crowd. So if you with us, let me see you put your fist in the air, Abaddon yelled. Everybody in the group raised their fists in the air. It was a crowd of 400 African descent people mixed with Latinos and other minority groups. Even some right liberals showed up to support. They all were wearing black tees or the black shirts they ordered for the event. The shirts said, "Injustice to African descent people will no longer be tolerated," with the black fix and the new black politics on the back. Everybody took their positions in line with Adara, Abda, Miss Jones, and her family leading the group. Okay, so we're going to march from this end to the other end where the event will be held. So if you could, I need everybody to raise their voices and repeat after me, Adara instructed. "I have the power over my own life. Every decision I make affects not only me, but the people who come from me. I would choose to make better decisions for my people and me. I am not alone. I'm not a thug. I'm not a criminal. I'm not an angry black woman. I am of God and he loves me. He chose me to be his and I will act accordingly. Nothing that they do or say will stop me because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world." Every word that Adara said, the crowd repeated after her. They kept chanting the words until they reached the stage. When they got there, Adara, Sean, and Miss Jones took the stage. Everyone cheered as Sean walked onto the stage. "You got it, brother," a man yelled out from the crowd. Sean looked out into the crowd and saw his friend standing next to his family, rooting him on. Adara handed Sean and Miss Jones a mic. "I want to thank you all for coming to this event, for not only showing up for Sean, but for showing up for yourself. As we mentioned earlier, this event is not just about what's going on now, but about what's been going on forever. We cannot afford to keep losing our brothers and sisters to this system. What I mean by this system is the fact that we all know that this system was created so a group of people can rise above another one. Instead, we are losing brothers and sisters to police brutality, drugs, alcohol, incarceration, genocide, and by our own hands. There's so much work we must do, and it's going to take all of us doing our part. And that's why we started this group. And we hope that you will all join us in this mission. I know all of you have seen the video that was posted on the internet of what happened to Sean, but that video does this situation no justice. What we're about to show you might be too much for some of you or your children to watch. So I advise you now, if you don't want to see or want your children to see the video, to have them turn around, please. Adara said as she looked out in the crowd, but nobody budged. "They need to see the truth. Ain't no sense in hiding it from them," an elderly man said. Everybody in the crowd nodded their heads. "All right then, Abadan. If you don't mind pulling up the video," Adara requested. Miss Jones and Sean stepped to the side so everyone could see the video on the screen behind them. The crowd grew quiet as the footage started. Everyone's eyes were glued to the screen as they get to the officer's point of walking up to the car. Sean grabbed his mother's hand. "Hello, officer. Is there something wrong?" Miss Jones asked. "Just give me your license, registration, and insurance," the officer ordered. "Yes, sir. I'm reaching for it now," Miss Jones says, grabbing her things from her glove compartment. "Here you go, sir," Miss Jones says, putting her hand back on the steering wheel. Sean has Sean has his hands on the dashboard and his siblings have their hands lifted. The officer takes her things and goes back to his car. The other officer was still in his car. "Remember, guys, sit still. Look straight ahead, okay?" Miss Jones instructs in a hesitant tone. "Yes, ma'am," they all say. The officer gets out of his car and walks to the other officer's car. The officer gets out of the car and they sit there talking for a moment. "What's taking them so long?" Sean asks. "Just sit still and be quiet. It will be over soon," Miss Jones says. Both officers walk towards the car, one on Miss Jones' side and the other on Sean's side. The officer flashes his light in Sean's face. "Hey, don't I know you?" the officer asks. "No, sir, I don't think so," Sean says. "What is this about, officer? Why did you stop me?" Miss Jones asks. "Don't question me. But hey, boy, step out of the car," the officer ordered. Sean looks over at his mother. "Just do what they say, baby," Miss Jones says. "But mama, I'm scared," Sean says with his hand still on the dashboard. "Officer, is this necessary? My son is scared. And why does he have to get out the car?" Miss Jones asks. "Get out of the damn car now," the officer on Sean's side yells. Tears start to flow down Sean's face. "Officer, please," Miss Jones yells out. Okay, that's it. The officer on Sean's side yelled, yanking Sean out of the car and slamming his body to the pavement. Oh my God, what are you doing? What did we do? What did he do? Miss Jones screams, attempting to get out of the car. The officer slams her door back, leaning in the window. I wouldn't do that if I were you unless you want something to happen to the other children of yours, the officer says, winking at Miss Jones, walking over to Sean and the other officer. What we got over here, the officer asks, patting Sean down. Miss Jones turned the camera towards the officer and Sean. She gets on the phone asking for backup, but they take their time coming. Sean tries to lift his head. Officer, I don't have anything. Please, I'm just a kid, Sean yells out. Shut your damn mouth, the officer yells, slamming Sean's head down on the pavement. It caused Sean to have a seizure. Before Miss Jones could jump out of the car and say anything, the officers fired 3 shots into Sean's body. What the hell did you shoot him for? The other officer yells. He was resisting arrest. I was helping you, the officer says. Helping me? Call for assistance. This is your mess, and you're going to clean this one up, the officer says. Miss Jones was hovering over Sean's body, screaming and crying, My baby! Why did you do that to my baby? Sean, hold on. Baby, I'm here, Miss Jones says, holding Sean. Abaddon cut off the video, and emotions were running high in the crowd. You had people crying, shouting, and some on their knees praying. It took a minute to calm the crowd down. Even the news reporters were taken aback by the video. Until today, nobody knew what happened. They only saw the edited version from the police body camera. Then finally, Sean walked to the center of the stage. Hello, my name is Sean, Sean said, trying to get everybody's attention. Everyone slowly started walking closer to the stage. I'm sorry watching the video made you sad and angry. I wish I weren't the one up here talking. I wish we didn't have to talk about things like this, but I guess we must. Ever since I have been home, I've been trying to figure out why me. What did I do to make the officers mad? And I finally realized I did nothing wrong. Whatever problem they had going on had nothing to do with me. They just used me to take their frustration out on. They don't hate us because we're black. They hate us because we got something that they don't have. For years, they have raped, beaten, killed us, and destroyed our history. It's not because we're black, but it's because of our nature, our culture, our heritage. They hate. So I had a choice to choose how I let what they did to me affect me and I chose to live for everybody else who no longer has that choice. I think you should do the same, Sean said, walking off the stage. Everybody in the crowd cheered him on as he walked off the stage. The event was going great. Zion and his crew came through on their end with the music. Everybody was enjoying the music, food, and games, and as the event was coming to an end, Adara got a call. Miss Carol? What does she want? Hello? Miss Carol, is everything okay? Adara asked. Yes, I'm home watching your event live on the TV. I didn't know you were the leader of this group, Miss Carroll said. Yes, ma'am, I am. Is that a problem? Adara asked. Well, I'll let you enjoy your event. Can you meet me in my office Monday morning around 8? Miss Carroll asked. Yes, ma'am, I can, Adara replied in a hesitant tone. They hang up the phone and Adara just stood there for a moment, looking at the crowd. Oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Adara said, walking towards the group. The end of chapter 10.